So back then, like I was 120 pounds. That was like my goal weight. I don't know why. I think as women, we just pick a number out of thin air and we just decide this is what we think we should weigh. Well, fast forward, I'm 146 pounds, but I would never have said, I think I want to gain 20 more pounds. But I have way more muscle now and lower body fat than I did back as 125 or 20 pounds. So I think too with the scale, like it's a tool, but it's not something that you should base your whole journey on because it's a snapshot of 1 hour.
Hello, welcome to Monetizing Mompreneurs podcast, where I take you behind the scenes with industry leaders, entrepreneurs, moms, working professionals, and amazing people pursuing their passions and going for their dreams. And I'm your host, Linda Mendable. Erica is an 8-time natural fitness competitor. She's a mom of 3 and a certified trainer and nutrition coach. Erica, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have an amazing conversation today because you were just going into like an amazing story. And so tell us how you started.
So I got started into nutrition and it was really just to lose like the last 5 pounds after my second child was born. And what I didn't realize was it was more about body composition and losing fat and building muscle. So many times we pay attention to the scale when it's really about changing our shape and our body. And then it was after my third son was born, Jace, that I remember looking in the mirror, not realizing who that woman was staring back at me, just putting everybody else's needs before my own. I kind of lost my sense of self and desires, and I kind of forgot what I was doing and where I was going. So I really just wanted to get back in the gym to be strong inside and out. And I started lifting. My dad was a wrestling coach, so I grew up in the weight room. So it's something that came very natural to me. And then that's how I started just going to the gym. I actually would take him with me in his car seat, 6 weeks old, take him with me, go to the gym, start working out. And it was through that process that fitness, lifting had really just given me more confidence. It's brought out an inner strength, helping me to set stronger boundaries with people and really just find myself again.
Amen. I mean, I try to work out every day. So I'm off to the gym like from after I drop off my kids in school. I have my 4-year-old still with me because I have 3 kids. So my boys are in school and my baby girl is with me at the gym and she loves it. She cries if we don't go. So that's been a positive. So I go like practically every day unless like life happens. And I've learned that has definitely allowed me like more energy, a lot more being more into me. I do look at the scale a lot that I think I need to stop doing because a lot of experts say, don't look at the scale. What do you say about that? Because I feel like it takes accountability. Like, okay, I can't eat too much today, but I know that's not how it works, but that's just sometimes how my mind works.
Yes. Well, and it's kind of funny. So back then, like I was 120 pounds. That was like my goal weight. I don't know why. I think as women, we just pick a number out of thin air and we just decide this is what we think we should weigh. Well, fast forward, I'm 146 pounds, but I would never have said, I think I want to gain 20 more pounds. But I have way more muscle now and lower body fat than I did back as 125 or 20 pounds. So I think too with the scale, like it's a tool, but it's not something that you should base your whole journey on because it's a snapshot of 1 hour. So we fluctuate 4 to 5 pounds in a day, just depending on what we eat, if we have to go to the bathroom, if we're menstruating, things like that. So it's really just a tool. I like using measurements and also pictures because a lot of the times the scale might not necessarily be moving, but your pictures are going to be showing something different.
Yeah. No, like after I've decided to be consistent and like to go to the gym, not really focused because I had a bad hip. By God's grace, my hip got healed. I mean, my hip was really bad that I would be crying in the middle of the night because of my second, labor. It was really tough labor. I remember, I still remember how painful it was. I was shaking with pain. It was my other ones, like my first and my third were really fantastic labors, but my second got me. And it affected my hip really, really bad. But I started, lifting and just doing certain exercise at the gym that has taken that pain away. When it comes to like women that's going off of postpartum, like what do you recommend? Like how do you recommend them to start getting back in the gym, getting back into that routine? Because that took me almost 4 years to just get back in the gym.
Yeah. I think, well, and it's always important to listen to your doctor, because I think ideally, typically they say 6 weeks, but it also depends on if you've had a C-section or a natural birth. But I always say, listen to your body. Like over the last few years, I've just become so in tune with my body. And sometimes, a lot of times we, as women and even people, we have this all or nothing mentality. And it's really about setting small goals and increasing your confidence. So I remember when I first started, I was like, I'm going to do 7 days a week, get up at 5 a.m. and work out. And I didn't do that. And I think I got up at 5 once, because I'm not a morning person at all. So mine's like mid-afternoon, morning. And I would say set goals that are actually doable. And if it's 2 days a week, great, start with that. And then build up and work yourself up to that. And then also, I think there's this mindset where you have to go to the gym. You can start with body weight and just do something small every day.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, because getting back in the gym for me was actually essential, because if I wasn't getting my nutrition and my health under control, I don't think I would be even in this interview right now, because it was so bad, like the pain I would be sleeping in pain. I got myself like a little special pillow. I mean, it was very bad. Like I just didn't want to go to the doctor. I know we should, and I don't recommend anyone to do that. If you need to go to the doctor, go to the doctor.
Right.
But what is the number one thing that women ask of you when you're posting and you're on social media, and the information that you get? Like what is the number one pain point, right? Like what would you say that women are struggling with?
I think automatically a lot of people look for motivation. So they say, I just need motivation. And it really comes down to, I was listening to something this morning, a little like motivational clip, and it said, if you're not doing, like, we all know what we could be doing better. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no one needs to tell me how I can do things better. But at the end of the day, the reason that I'm not doing them is because there's not enough reasons. So I feel like your why isn't strong enough. So for me, most of the time, women say motivation, and I can coach you so far, but you need to meet me halfway. And usually when people write down, or when they reach out to me, it's, I want to lose 10 pounds or 20 pounds or whatever. And it really has nothing to do about the number. It's how they want to feel.
Yes, absolutely. When I tapped into that, that's when I started going to the gym more.
Yes. So it's really about digging underneath that why. So for me, I wanted to be strong. I love muscle. I think it's sexy. I wanted to like feel confident.
I want those beautiful arms, right?
Yes.
The divots. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So it's like figuring out that why. And for me, it was, as a nutrition coach and personal trainer, mine was, I want to be my own business brand. I want to be my own brand or business. So you take from me, which my goal was to gain 5 pounds of muscle, to I want to be my own business card. Do you see how like more powerful that is? That kept me in the gym. So not only did I gain 5 pounds, I've gained 25 pounds of muscle now.
Wow.
Which is insane. But then to like just keep that going, and then also rechecking in with your why. I think even with January, we set a goal once and we never check in with ourselves. So every 30 days, make sure that what you're doing is aligning, and then keep going. And one more thing I'll say on this, I didn't realize this, but I read a quote. It said, make it the decision and then the process will follow. Usually what happens is people try to figure out the process first before they make the decision. And I went, holy crap, that's exactly what I did with my figure competitions. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I've placed in every single one. I just knew that I was going to do it, and I'll figure it out as we go. And that's kind of even how you can build a business. I mean, you can relate that in motherhood with life, but I thought that was so powerful.
It was ridiculously powerful. What? That was like a gem right there. And like, if you're not taking that gem away, I don't know what you're doing.
So it's like, yeah, just make the decision. It's done. Like, fall in love with the process. The results
Yeah.
are,
Yeah, but make a decision. No,
yeah,
that's so true. I remember when I was like second guessing my decision to have my business. It's like, do I do it all the way? I was kind of like in and out, and I guess because I didn't really structure that why that makes you kind of like show up more, that makes you do what you need to do a bit more. And I remember when I finally decided this is my business. I'm going to take it all the way. In the instant, I mean transformation.
yeah,
Like boom, 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 client
yeah,
after client after client. I mean, it was crazy. I was like out of nowhere. And it and
yeah,
it was like, we have to be aware of how we are energetically inside, because then those things that we desire starts coming into and falling into our lap because we're ready for them. We have
yeah,
the capacity, the mind capacity, the heart capacity, the soul capacity to actually do what we need to do, in order to like actually steward well, over those things. That's what I discovered.
yes. Well,
But
I can be honest, like I wasn't doing that with my business. I did it with my fitness results. So when I read that, I went, holy crap. I take my business seriously, but I can honestly say it was kind of like, for a while, it was just like a fun hobby. And then this year was like, oh no, I need to make a decision and do it. Because what was the problem was I was listening to so many different people instead of coming back to me, what I wanted to do, create my own vision and go. And it's
yeah, I think that's the hardest part. I think that's the hardest part is actually like kind of making that decision,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
That's the hardest part, like truly making a decision. And I think that when you make the decision, it also follows suit with the why. And
Yes.
then it follows suit with falling in love with the process.
Yes. 100%.
Oh my God. Okay. So basically we established that usually, people, when people come to you, they're like, oh, I want to get more motivated. I
Yes.
need accountability, right? Because I have definitely, like, I remember like, man, I need to start getting in shape. I need accountability. And I did hire a trainer, she actually lives really near me. And I was like, and she did it off of her home. And I was like, this is perfect.
Mhm.
And I could bring my daughter, and she had daughters. And so my little girl was able to play with her daughters, and I was able to like get my workout. That did not sustain me. I didn't keep it up. I actually, after that, I started gaining weight, because I only did a short period, but it did give me the necessary tools that I needed to kind of like kind of like heal certain areas, right? Because it was like certain exercises, I told her what my problem was, and she gave me certain things. She gave me certain knowledge, right? But knowledge can only take you so far. So boom. So we established that motivation is not it. You think you need motivation, and and your answer to that is, where's your why?
Yes. We make decisions with our head. We think sometimes the first stage is always like, okay, I need a trainer. I'm going to reach out. You've made it in your head, but you haven't made it in your heart yet.
That's
It's like
good.
such a different shift because
Yeah.
it's happened to me. Like I went through it. So now when other people come to me, I can see it before they can see it. Like if
Yeah.
someone's serious or if they're not, which is no shame because you're on your own journey. And even going through my own journey, like sometimes we think like, gosh, this is taking forever, whether it's business, relationship, fitness. But at the end of the day, when I look back, I go, dang, that it made me stronger. That happened for a reason. I needed to go through what I went through to get here.
Yeah. Don't be double-minded. You got
Yes.
to be one-minded from within, right? Head, heart, soul, spirit, all of that one. You got to be
Yes.
like decision all aligned. All right. Boom. So it's not motivation. Get deeper with your why. And then the next step, what is the next step to get massive results? Because I feel like you're telling us how to get massive results.
Yes. I would say 80% of it's nutrition. So one of the things I think is super funny and ironic is I'll give people meal plans. And I don't necessarily like saying like, here's a meal plan, follow it, because what I eat might be different for you. So I really like to teach macros counting. So what does that mean? Macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fat. So how many, because my protein number might be different than yours, depending on your goals, carbs, same with me. Because you can, if you've heard the calories in, calories out, yes, you do want to eat less calories than you're burning to create a calorie deficit. But at the same time, I think women take it too extreme when you really don't have to be in that much of a deficit.
I mean, I mean, when you consider that a cup of your favorite Starbucks is around 800 calories, I mean,
Yeah. Right. Like it's eye-opening that maybe we should do that once a week instead of 7 or 5 or whatever.
then
And
you
then
should be afraid, like, oh my gosh, the liquid that I'm drinking
totally,
is actually making me gain weight, that's, it
yes.
blows your mind.
Yes. Well, and then it's taking that, your calories, but then also looking, okay, what is making up those calories? How much protein am I actually getting? How many carbs? How many fats? Because I have specific goals. So I need to know those numbers. But then what I like about doing that is I can puzzle piece it together. So like yesterday, I had some yogurt with Girl Scout cookies. Like I will plan them into my meal. So it's flexible dieting. So I'm not really restricting. I went out to breakfast this morning. But it's about choices, like choosing, planning it out, choices. And when I give women meal plans, they'll take pictures and send them. But I am a fan of eating carbs. We need carbs for our body. And I'm not a coach that will tell you to cut anything out unless it doesn't agree with you. You know your body. I process food differently than you process food. But as they send me their pictures, they automatically don't eat carbs. Like every single picture. So I had one client who was like, she plateaued and I noticed she wasn't eating any carbs. And I'm like, have a sweet potato for lunch. And she looked at me. She was like, you want me to do what? I said, have a sweet potato for lunch. Just do that for one day for a week. And just let's see what happens. She did. She started losing weight again. Because as you lose weight, your body needs fuel to use that, make it into muscle and to get energy. So it's like not being afraid of that. It's not the carbs that make us overweight. It's how much and what kinds.
You know what? That makes actually absolutely perfect sense because I remember that I was like not eating carbs. And then one day I binged on some homemade bread. Okay, I made the bread and I lost weight.
Yeah.
Well, like, how in the world?
It's like a scale. You have to balance it because if you eat too much one way, it's going to tip one side. If you go too much the other way, it's going to tip. And even like I call it a splurge meal. Like one day a week, I go out, I have like a burger and fries. That's usually my favorite. And then I still eat clean the rest of the day. Usually I'll wake up leaner the next day. Now, if I did that every day, the scale would start tipping. So I still have to keep it in check.
Everything in moderation.
Exactly. 100%. Because if you cannot do it for a lifetime, you should not be doing it. Period.
Wow. No, this is good because, when I first started like trying, on my whole health journey, at first it was, I want to lose weight. That was my first goal. Like I want to lose weight, but that didn't keep me in in the zone. Mm-hmm. What kept me in the zone was I want more energy so I can do more for my family, so I can show up for my business.
Yes.
So I can be the woman I want to be.
Yes.
And that did it for me.
That's so much more powerful. Like that gives me goosebumps because it's like you're hitting the deeper nerve, the deeper why, the deeper emotion.
Yeah. And I hated going to the gym. I absolutely hate it. I found something within my gym and I love it. I found cycling. I love cycling. Oh my gosh. I absolutely love it. Helped my hips for whatever reason. I can sleep well now, and then after I do the cycling, it's like 30-minute cycling. And then I do my core, which is like sit-ups. I know I should be doing more stuff, but I'm keeping it simple.
Yeah. Well, and start somewhere. And you said a key thing, like I'm doing what I love. Most times people just do things because they think they should instead of finding an activity that they actually love and want to keep doing. I used to think so many of my friends did yoga. Yoga is great, but it wasn't my thing. I like to lift heavy and I like to go hard. And once I found that, people started coming to me and they're like, oh, I should do that. I should do that. And I was like, no, you need to go find what you enjoy because they just need that passion and energy from you. It's not really the activity. It's just your love for it.
Yeah. And you know what? It also goes into business because I know when I started in business, I started like as a hand maker. And, I was just sewing because I've always wanted to try it. But anyways, I remember I decided to do a sewing class. And I promoted it. It was like I had it in a local sewing shop that I used to go all the time. And around 2 people signed up. And I was ecstatic though. I was ecstatic, like, wow, right? Found out I hated to teach to sew. So you got to try different things.
Yes.
Like for
Yes.
me, I don't like the elliptical. I don't like that thing. I don't like, the Stairmaster. I would do it because of the results,
Yep.
and because I was having knee pain around with my hip pain, I couldn't do the treadmill. I love running. I used to be a runner. So what happened to me was I was out on a run and someone called me and they gave me bad news that my brother had passed while I was out on the run. And after that, I stopped running. And so that really affected me, and I was like, what's going on with me? And then I realized, like, oh my goodness, this is kind of like holding me back. So I found something else. I like cycling.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's so awesome. Like my favorite, honestly, is jumping rope, which I know a lot of people probably don't like doing
I
that.
hear you can burn more
Yeah.
calories. Jumping in 10 minutes is almost like you running for 3 miles. Is
Yeah,
this
I
true?
love it. Well, it probably depends on your body type and of course your muscle, because the more muscle you have, the more calories you're going to burn. But even for me, like I have a Garmin watch that I use. And it's not 100% accurate, but at least it gives you an idea of how many calories. I just told my group this morning, I do online coaching and in person, but I told them that I started doing HIIT again, which I normally do for my fitness competitions, but I started doing it again, mostly just because it gets me productive during the day, gets my energy going, wakes me up. And I burn 200 to 400 more calories during the day just by doing 10 minutes of HIIT in the morning.
Yeah, I hear HIIT is a really good, that's
Yes.
what CrossFitters do, right? Is that what
Yeah, a
CrossFitters
lot
do?
of it is. Yeah, I do my cardio in the morning and then I'll lift later once I get kind of more food in me.
Because you're like, a gym person.
Yes, I am a gym person. Yes. What is it?
I
There's a
mean,
shirt that I was like, I'm a regular mom, but a cool mom because I'm a lifting mom or something like that. Gosh.
that's awesome. You should make a t-shirt of that.
I know.
Like, right? No, you can. I got a little bit of a swag, a little bit of a merch shop going on
Yeah.
on my website. Yep. I got some mugs that says monetizing mompreneurs.
Oh,
Like,
that's
yes.
awesome.
Yeah. So you should consider that because I'm always looking for like cool, like cute shirts to go in the gym, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like fitness. Cause one of the secrets I hear is to have cute clothes. Have you seen
Yeah.
that
Well,
reel?
yeah, look good, feel good. Yes. No,
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. And it just brings your confidence up.
Okay. Another question I would like to say is like, okay, we already know like if you don't know where to start somewhere,
Yes.
right? And what happens if we can't tap into our why? Like, like how can we get more in tune? Like, what would you say to a person that's not really motivated? They were first motivated at first and they drop off a little bit. What would you say to them?
I would say it's usually because, like, again, I have 3 kids. We're all in sports. My husband's a dairy farmer. We're super busy. And usually when I drop off or it's because I'm kind of going through the motions. I'm not sitting, I'm not reflecting, I'm not being present. So if someone's kind of lost their way, I would say I started doing gratitude walks. I kind of named them.
Ooh, that's powerful.
So I would go outside and I started walking to the library. It was like 3 blocks. It wasn't long, but I would not take my phone. I would be present. I would start doing gratitude. And it was really just connecting back to myself. I'm a Christian, so I was praying to God and just like being present, because there's no short of information coming at us, but it's really the challenging part is sitting in the stillness and allowing yourself to just be. I mean, have you ever gone to a restaurant and like everyone's on their phones?
Yes,
Like,
I do. I look around. It's like,
Yes.
I look
It's
around to
like,
see what people are doing.
yeah. And I feel like that with my children too. Like it's always about electronics. And it's like you're missing that chance to get to know who you are as a
Yeah.
person. For a long time, I remember probably about 2015, I came home and I started crying. And my husband's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "What if I don't do fitness and nutrition anymore?" And he's like, "Okay." But I made that my identity.
Oh, that's good. This is good. Let's go deeper.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
so that's really what, like, because I would go to all these things like with for my kids, and they would, which I love fitness and nutrition, but people would always ask me about it. And that part of me was like, I'm a mom too. I have issues
Mm.
too. Like, I want to talk too. So it really
Yeah.
just
No, because we
started.
look at someone like you as a mom. I'm sorry for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I would look at someone like you. I'm like, she got it together.
No, and I don't. And my clients know that. Like, honestly, I'm a few steps ahead, but that doesn't mean no one ever has it all together. Like,
I mean,
ever.
if you got the arms, you're like, they got life, like life.
Yeah. But yeah, it was like, and then I had to repackage that because I am competitive. I like to I love to help and nurture, but I also have that drive. So it was like kind of blending the two together. But not only I was really good at giving grace to my clients, but I had to show that to myself as well.
Ooh,
And then
yeah.
also repackage, like, what does it mean to be me? Like, who am I actually, not based off of my income, my job, my titles, like everything from that. So
Casting your cares, casting your cares.
yes. So it was really, that was a lot of it was, yeah, making my identity not about me and not my business.
That's so good. Like, thank you so much for sharing that because I feel like, like I said, like if I was to look at, I'm sure, like all you see those accounts, right? It's
Yes.
all fitness, amazing, like sometimes very pro videos, and you're like, they got it together. Like they got it together, or even if they have just a flat stomach having a baby on their, on their side, right? But I love the message, like, we don't have it all together, we all of us, even the women that you think that have it all together, there are struggles there.
Yeah.
There's things that we're all going through and that we're all facing. I think that's what's important in having a podcast like this and just having these conversations for other moms that, hey, I've been where you are, I'm just a few steps ahead, let me bring you up here so you can
Right.
go soar, right?
Yes. 100%. Yeah. No, it's so true. It's just like, and I think too, like, even for me, like I am pretty vulnerable, but I still don't show everything on social
Yes.
media. And
Yes.
some days, like I always tell my clients, like you have to find the consistency within the inconsistency. Because some days my business gets more of me, some days my family, some days it's myself, some days I kick butt, other days I'm like, let's just try again tomorrow. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I was going to post like a picture of me in a bonnet, with my kids. I was like, nah, that's too much. But just because I think it's just like because people are only showing highlight reels and maybe a few times dropping some of those vulnerable moments because it's so hard to just be vulnerable online, right? Like
yes.
it's very difficult. It's not easy, but I think this is a great message. Like, hey, figure out your why. Don't let what you do define you.
Yes. Or your weight.
Or your weight. Yeah, I know, right? Embracing your weight. Oh, that's so hard. But I decided instead, because I have this problem. This is my problem, is that, you know, I would look in the mirror, I'm like, shoot, you're looking good, Lynn. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't see me gaining the weight,
Mhm.
but I step on the scale. Oh man, that scale is saying something different.
Right.
Right? So, my body dysmorphia is a little bit different. It's like, shoot, there is nothing wrong with me. Body. Other
No,
than
but
that, of course, I
so
would
beautiful.
absolutely love the chiseled arms and everything like that. But
No. And you have to embrace you because like you said, fall in love with the process, fall in love with cycling, and your body will come. Because you gotta
yes,
let go of the number because like I said, we're just picking it out of thin air, what we think
I
we
had to
should
let
do.
go. I had to let go. I had to let go because my number does not match how I feel.
Yes. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? At
Yes.
one point it did. And that's why I was like, I got to do something about this. But right now, because of the activity that I'm doing, it doesn't match. I'm like, that's weird. I look at the scale, I'm like, no, you're a liar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Well,
feel a
and
lot lower than that.
in one of my groups, I do have them weigh every morning, but it's not because I'm tracking, it's to like have it just become obsolete,
Mm.
to just it's repetition. The more you do it, the less
Yeah, I
serious.
like weighing myself. I don't think there's anything bad with that. I think it's how you feel in your clothes, you
Yeah.
know? Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
look at
And it's what you make it mean.
what you make it
That's
mean.
yeah. That's the
Yeah.
I would say
We're so
the
attached, right? We're so attached to that number. Like if
yes.
I was only 20 pounds lighter, then I would feel XYZ and I would be XYZ, right? We tell ourselves
Yes.
that,
Yep.
or, I would be, a sexy vixen, and my husband would be all over me.
Right.
I don't know, whatever you're telling yourself, right?
Yes. But it's true. We set goals for because it's conditional. Because you think you're gonna be happy versus like you had said, just letting it go, letting it be what it is, doing the work, and it will come. I promise.
Yeah, and that's a testament to how business is as well,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
We see what we're doing, we're not seeing results, we want to quit.
Yes. Yep. And I will say I'm gonna be 40 next Wednesday.
Wow, congratulations.
You. I was
You look
honestly,
good.
thank you.
Goodness.
I was like, kind of like 40 is a big number. So I was like, oh, it's kind of making me nervous. I love my body and my life so much now, more now than I ever did in my 20s.
That's
Like,
good.
I would never go back. And that was one thing that I took out of my marketing was the pre-pregnancy. Like, let's get back to your high school jeans or your pre-pregnancy. And I'm like, would I want to do that? No. I know so much more now after having kids. I love my body now. So it's like, that's what I want to help. That's why I have like rediscovering a body you're proud of, because let's take you and then like shift it and build something new.
Yeah, I feel like, our high school bodies are just way different than our bodies.
Mhm. Oh
Like even
yeah.
if you were to get back that weight, you might be even, I feel like you'd be like a stick,
Yes.
like for me, because I wasn't, they called me the Pink Panther growing up because I was so skinny.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
So this is the like, that's when I was like, oh my gosh, my weight is getting out of hand. I've never been this big. I've been this big when I was pregnant, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh shoot, what am I gonna do? And so I it took me aback. Like after I took some pictures, it actually registered like how much weight I was gaining. Looking in the mirror didn't do it for me.
right,
Taking
right.
pictures did it for me,
Yes.
for whatever reason. So take the picture, girl. See where
Yes.
you're at.
Yes. And it's scary. Everyone always is like, I don't want to take pictures. Trust me, you do. You don't even have to show anybody. Just take the picture.
Yes. So I did. I took some pictures. I did a video, and I hear that you should do it every day. What would you say?
No, I usually have my clients do at least, I would say the most once a week. Even for me as a fitness competitor, I do once a week. And
Okay.
fitness competitor and weight loss is a little bit different because with fitness, you're doing like weekly countdowns till you get into your
Okay.
training. So I do need to be on top of my nutrition, making sure my body's doing what I need to in a healthy way. And I start out far enough in advance, so I'm not putting my health
Yeah.
in
I want
jeopardy.
to go into now that we've established the mindset.
Mhm.
Now let's go into physical activity.
Okay.
Now that we found our why, we found how deeply we can go into our why, right? Make the
Mhm.
decision, get real with yourself. Do not allow your activity to define you, what you do to define you, and have something that will move you forward. Now, where do we go? Like as far as physical activity, like where do we start? Like maybe we've been to the gym before, or we've never been to the gym before, or we know we got to go in. How do we find that love for fitness? I remember I was like, I wish I was addicted to going to the gym. I absolutely, it was like dragging feet until I found cycling. It was so
Yes.
awesome.
I would say trying to find a class. is something that excites you, like try a few different classes to see
I
what.
wasn't a class person, like,
Okay.
but I would do a cycling class, but
Sure.
classes is not for me. Like
Okay.
I
So
can't do no Zumba because
yeah.
I need time to process the steps.
Yeah.
I will stop.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, yeah, find a class. Otherwise, a lot of gyms have personal trainers that do free assessments, and you can
Okay.
always ask to show.
Or get with you, right?
Or
DM.
yes, or get with me. I do online in-person coaching. Yes, that would be the the smart answer, right? No. Shameless plug. No.
It's okay.
But
We're giving value. That's why you weren't even thinking about, you there. You're like,
right.
I want to give value.
Well, and it's just starting small. So like I know how it's can be intimidating to go to the gym and to have people, because you think people are looking at you when really they're not. They're more people are we're self obsessed.
Yeah, yeah. Have you heard it? Like, you think people care about you, but really people just care about themselves. So
Yeah.
no one's thinking about
No one's
you. You're
looking at
thinking about that mistake, unless it
exactly.
was something ridiculously embarrassing.
Right.
You're
But
probably
now
not.
too, there's so much like YouTube, like I think too, sometimes people are afraid they're gonna be show up on a meme or something.
Ooh, oh, really? Have you heard that? I haven't.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't do that, but like there's a lot of people that videotape people, and sometimes I don't know if it's like staged or
I
if it's
pray
actually,
they videotape me. Just tag me. Let it go viral. Just tag
yeah,
me.
right, right. So, or
Just
even,
kidding. Just kidding. Don't do it.
yeah, I know. I'm just like,
God, please help me. Protect me.
um, or I would say get like like I put little body weight plans together. Like I have one client who I'm working with. Um, she wants to get back in the gym. So she's like, I'm not there yet. So I was like, great, let's start with 3 days a week. Tell me what you have at home. She had 5-pound weights, 8-pound weights. And I did like a small little routine 3 times a week. And I think it was like 15 minutes, just something to get her going. Because as she
Yeah.
sees that momentum starts getting more confidence, then we can go, okay, let's add another set onto this day.
Yeah.
Let's
And
add.
I do recommend someone like getting with a trainer. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? I absolutely do, because I did. And I honestly, because of that, I learned about exercises that would better facilitate strengthening my hip,
Yes.
and stretches. One of the things that really blessed me was getting one of those bands. And I never would have thought about it, but she was like, hey, let's see. She asked me questions like, how does it hurt? What activities? When you squat, does it hurt? When you move this, what type of motion? And she finally found like what activities, whether it was pull or what
Yeah.
have you, like made it more irritated, or what activities made it better, right?
Yeah.
For strengthening. And in the beginning, I don't know what it is, but why do personal trainers want to kill you in the beginning? Just kidding. But they want to
Don't.
make you super sore. Oh my gosh.
Well,
I couldn't even walk up the stairs. I remember the couple of.
that is never my intention. And I kid you not, this happened to me a few times. I would train people and they literally would, after our session, they'd look at me and they'd go, thank you for not making me throw up. And I went, what?
Yeah.
She goes,
Yeah.
oh, the last few trainers I've had made me throw up. And I was like, oh my gosh. I go, my intention is to challenge you, but it's also, and to like mentally make you a little tougher. But I want you walking out that door going, I feel pretty good. And I can't wait to do it again. Like that should be your goal, not to like make it suck.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
worst hour of my
Because
life.
in the beginning, it was like excruciating. In the beginning, to get back into shape was
Yeah.
excruciating. It was
Yeah.
like tough nights, tough things, but I had to keep on going because, your
Yes.
why keep you going. And
Yep.
now I can actually exert myself that I won't ever get to how sore I was when I
Yes.
first started. I
Yes.
can actually push and like push hard and
Yes.
not get as sore as that first couple of days of like no workout or at all.
Yeah.
So
There is
whew,
a there was a quote that someone said too, like when you decide to start getting fit, watching your nutrition, we think it's going to happen like that, like super quick. And there was a
I
quote that
cried the first week that
yeah, right. Like the scale hasn't moved. This isn't working. And imagine walking 10 miles into a forest. And then, so that's your journey. And now you got to walk that 10 miles back out. But people expect to walk it in like one. So if you
Mm,
think of your journey, like depending on where you're at for your goal, like you might be 10 miles into the forest. You got to walk that 10 miles out. Someone might only be 5. Someone might only be 2. So it's really like that totally put it in perspective. Like everyone's on their own journey, but you got to put in the work to get out.
Amen. So yeah, so she gave me that band. I love that analogy, by the way, because it's so true. She gave me that band and had me kind of like, attached it to the, what is that thing called? That you
The squat rack?
yeah, the squat rack. And she attacked because it's pretty heavy. And then, and then I would do a stretch on my hip and I felt it where it was almost like if something was pinned within my I guess my rotator, right?
Yep.
No, not rotator. That's the shoulder.
Yeah, your shoulder is your rotator, like your hip. Well, the actual ball is called the acetabulum, but
Yeah, okay.
hip
Somewhere
flexor.
around there. That's woo, you see, because exactly. Trainers know things that you wouldn't know.
And it's also like form's important too, because it's mind to muscle contraction, because you want to make sure you're squeezing the appropriate muscle. And a lot of times when I used to work out in a gym, I would just see people walking aimlessly through the weights, like do a few here, do a few here, and then be done. And you need a plan. And I usually will do 3 sets of one exercise, because the first set's always like my warm up. And then I do at least 2 or 3 more. So a total of 3 or 4. And I'm only doing like 5 exercises, but I'm lifting heavy. And that's the other misconception with women. And like, I don't want to be bulky. Well, if you feel like you're getting bulky, and I say that with quotes, it's because you're eating more than you're burning, period. You have to find that sweet spot. So don't be afraid to lift heavy, because that is what's going to be helping you get that muscle to actually want, like everyone wants the curves. That's what's going to help you get the curves. But you have to make sure that you're challenging it. So my rule of thumb is like, if you can get to 10 reps and it's super easy, go up and weight. If you cannot quite get to 10 reps, it might be a little too heavy. The last 2 to 3 should be kind of a push, kind of a challenge.
Yeah.
By the third set, burning.
Yeah. That's so cool what you said about like the muscle and mind connection, because that is exactly what happened to me when I discovered that I was not utilizing my glute on that side of the hip.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
And I didn't know, but because of the trainer, because I was working with her, we discovered that, like you're not using your glute.
Well,
and
even like for me with training women, like we do a lot of isolation exercises. So for instance, like rear-legged deadlifts, those work your hamstrings. If I'm doing those at the same time all the time, my right doesn't engage as quickly as my left. So if I were to not know that and not pay attention, what's going to happen is eventually my left is going to get overtrained, and then there's going to be injury, which is going to take me out. So I always train a lot of like, we'll train muscle groups together, like a squat, but then we might do single leg squats too. So we're training them separately as well. So a lot of people ask me, like, I'll do like CrossFit moves, but for me, it's more like body sculpting. Cause at the end of the day, I don't care how much I can lift. I don't care about hitting PRs. That's my goal. Like if it's your goal, great. That's not me. I just want to look and feel good and be healthy and strong.
Yes, me too. And that's why I fell in love with a workout routine. I was so happy when I did, because it was hard. And I want people to know, especially, moms, like it may be ridiculously hard in the beginning, but tap into that why, right? Yes. Tap into that why and get with someone like Erica. Get with Erica.
If you can give birth, you can get through a workout session.
Yeah, shoot, my second was 9 pounds, and that did it for me. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like big babies. He was born like he was 3 months old already.
No, we go through a lot as moms. So it's like we do not give ourselves a credit enough for what we do. We are so strong and so capable. We just need to start realizing it.
I recently heard a reel that said, and it was a comedian, and she said, hey, there was a new study done, and that, menstrual cramps is the same pain as a man going through a heart attack.
Really?
Yes, because yes.
Wow. I was like, I
I
know.
don't know if it's true,
Thinking about
but
all the stuff
goodness.
that we have to go through with our bodies, I'm like, damn, we're strong.
Yeah, and and I was like, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. And she went deeper into it,
Yeah.
like, we're bleeding out, like, she was talking about going into work, maybe if we go into work, we should talk more about our feelings, because of what we're going through, right? If we're gonna
Yeah.
go through work through that time. But I don't know, for me, it made it because, it made a lot of sense.
Yeah. No, that's
But
funny.
we don't give ourselves so much credit, and we judge ourselves by what we do, like you were saying, our identity, right?
Yep. Yep. Or people will say, I'm just a mom. No, you are so much more than that.
Yeah. And so now let's go to the nutrition part of it, you
Mhm.
know. So, for me, I felt like I ate really healthy, and I learned that there were certain foods, so I started like cutting a lot of stuff off. It's almost like doing the whole food stuff. I heard about like this the Whole 30. I did not do that, the Whole 30, but I decided to just cut off a lot of like the regular food I was eating. I was eating a lot of rice and a lot of bread and a lot of cheese. And I decided to cut the rice, the bread, and the cheese, and I just ate potatoes, like sweet potatoes, potato with mushrooms. I love shiitake mushrooms, and for a period I didn't eat any meat, and then I introduced meat back in, and then I learned that rice was making me more inflamed,
Mm.
like belly wise, and bread, of course, bread, that sweet, sweet bread. Now I just do it sparingly,
Yeah.
but it would get me more. And I started to see results once those, the bread was cut off, and I cut off sugar completely.
Oh,
I cut off sugar, yeah, completely, and that helped a lot with my inflammation, because I would love this, coffee and cream and sugar. I decided to just do like either honey, even though it has more calories, but I felt like, you know what, I already cut so much out. I think I'll
right.
be good with the calories on this honey, you
Right.
know?
Yes.
So, I thought I was eating healthy because I was eating a lot. I wasn't eating processed foods. I was gaining weight, but of course, right, I'm a web designer, so I have a very sedentary lifestyle because of just sitting in the computer, having interviews all day. No, just kidding. But
Yeah.
having interviews and doing web design and hosting my client site and all that, right?
Mhm.
And I remember my trainer asked me, "Do you have a stand-up desk?" I was like, "No, I honestly don't want one though. Maybe I should in the future after I get better at cycling."
Sure.
But I felt like I was eating healthy and I couldn't understand the weight gain.
Yes. So usually my recommendation is kind of do the same thing like you, like, the basics would be increase your water, increase your sleep, increase your protein. But usually when I have clients start with me, before I even give them a meal plan, I say track your food for 3 days for me so I can get an idea. So I'm currently working with a client right now, and I gave her her numbers to hit, and she went over on her carbs, and everything she ate was healthy. But then I said, we need to take this, or it was a banana. I was like, maybe choose the banana or choose the oatmeal. And she's like, but banana, potassium, it's good, right? I said, of course, banana is great. But if you look at your end totals, you went over. So you got to choose one. So that's where it's about like knowing how much of what you're eating. And then two, like what's a carb, what's a protein, what's a fat. And that's where working with a coach can help. And I wish nutrition was black and white, but it's not. So just like you said with rice, paying attention to your body, how it affects you. But then also like what I started with how many years ago is not what I'm doing now. So it's always a moving target because your body's changing all the time. So it's something that you have to tweak.
And how many calories are you eating?
So currently to maintain my body type would be about 2,000, but I
Okay.
am in a cut right now. So a cut means I'm a calorie deficit. I'm trying to lean out. So right now I'm at about 1,700, 1,800.
Yeah, because I want people to know like what the calorie is, because what they have to get their weight, right? Like
Yes.
their weight, and what else?
It's weight, height, and
I,
age.
okay.
And that's strictly I have a few calculations that I can get a little bit closer, but that's also like, and I would always gauge your activity level kind of lower than what it says on the gauge, because those are all computerized. So they're not going to know exactly what you're at, but then always start small and increase. And what happens is people start too small, like the 1200 range. I never start anybody lower than like 1500 calories, depending on the activity. Because what happens is, so I'm going to use myself an example. If I were to do nothing all day, like just sit around, I burn about 1400 calories.
Naturally.
Then naturally. Yep. Then you add in my activity. That would bring me up. So yesterday I burned, I think 2100. The other day I burned 2400, sorry.
2,400 calories you burned?
Yes. Yes.
Goodness. Okay.
So now, could you imagine if I was eating 1200 calories and I burned that much? I would be in the pantry binging because I was so hungry. And then I would go, oh, well, this doesn't work.
Ooh, that's good. That's good.
So it's really, like I said, getting with someone and eating, because what happens is most people, again, most women just keep cutting calories instead of, a lot of the times we got a reverse diet, which means build you back up to where you would normally would be at.
Okay, question. How do you count how many calories you burn? Like my cycling class, how many calories am I burning there? You know?
There was a book I
Is
read
it like
that
25? What was it? What was your number?
it was, I mean, like I ran this morning on the treadmill, and it'll say about, this how many calories. I wear a fitness watch, so that's kind of what I go off of. Even then, it's not going to be 100%, but at least it gives me a little bit of a ballpark.
Okay, so okay, let's go over a few good apps to use to help us on our journey. What would you recommend? So a fitness watch. So like an Apple with an Apple Watch.
You could. So Apple, I'm not familiar because they have something
like
with
the whole
closing rings.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the app on my phone because I do have an Apple phone or an iPhone. And this is why I don't like it. So it tells me my steps, and my move calorie or my move goal is 310. But what I think happens is most women get obsessed with how much calories they burn in their workouts. I don't care how much calories you burn in your workout. I want to know how much you're burning the whole day. So if you look at my log, because muscle, when I lift, I'm probably not going to be burning that much in my workout, but during the day, I'm going to be burning more.
Okay.
So I have a Garmin watch. It's a Garmin Vivo Move, and it tracks my, I have to input my information, but it tracks my heart rate, my stress, my intensity minutes, my steps, my menstrual cycle. It can track my water, my weight, and
Wow.
and then my calories.
That watch that you have right there, that thing right there?
Yes. And it looks fancy.
Wow.
I wear it like a dress watch too.
Wow, it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
I'll put a link.
$160 too.
In the blog post.
Yeah, way cheaper than Apple. But anyway, so my workout yesterday, I think I burned only, like, it's kind of funny when I watch. So in my workout, I only burned probably like 300 is what my watch tracked. But then through the course of the day, it gets higher and higher and higher because I'm burning more. And then at the end of the day, yesterday, I burned 2088 calories.
Wow. And then how much calories did you intake? Because you're in a cut.
Yesterday, I can show you, or I can tell you because I have it logged. Yesterday, I ate 1645.
Wow. So you're in a cut for real.
Yes.
How long will it take you to see that result? In a week?
Oh, I've already seen it. I've lost 5 pounds, maintained my muscle, and 1.6% body fat in a week, or in actually starting last Wednesday. So a little.
So when you start like getting more control of like, the numbers and stuff like that, you can actually see results a little bit quicker than if it was up in the air, right?
Yes. And I felt good. I do supplement. I'm not eating chicken and rice every single meal. I supplement with protein shakes. But I'm still eating food. Like, that was another misconception. Is I just talked to a client the other day. She's like, I can't just eat shakes. I need food. And I'm like, girl, if you're just eating shakes, you're doing it wrong. Like, that's only supposed to enhance what I'm already doing.
I went through because I was so desperate to lose weight. And my friend was like telling me about this program that she is. It's almost like an MLM, I guess. Mm-hmm. And because, I trust her and everything like that, I was like, oh, let me try it. All they had was like I could only do like bone broth, like 1 cup a day, and then eat all of their bars and processed food. I was like, it made me sick. I was like, I can't do it. I can't. It was horrible. So I think people need to realize, like, eat, like don't get on these weird.
Right.
She was,
Like I said, if
she
you
had a
can't
good
do
heart.
it lifetime, you shouldn't be doing it. So when I told her, so I was like, I eat about 16 to 1700 calories. 400 of those come from shakes. So that means I'm getting over 1,000 calories of food.
Yeah.
So if you think about that, like it just helps me hit it because it breaks up the monotony of my meals and it's more of a treat for me. And my protein number, I try to hit at least 150 every day to maintain.
Amen.
So
Hey,
like
you
I
got
need
it.
to keep it high and I need to eat.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's why people have that perception, like they got their life together because you got your macros,
I've been doing it for a while.
So I mean, I can understand. I mean, but that's discipline, right? And that's the power of discipline, and I think that whoever is listening, and I want them to know, is that, like, don't think that you got to get into the high level of counting all these macros and stuff like that.
No.
Like, start small.
Yes.
Right? Start
Yep.
small. Start with your mindset. Start with at least doing one activity a day, or something, how many times a week? Like 2 times a week, 3 times a week, like 1 time a week, maybe.
For working out?
Yeah, like maybe just start.
What are you committed to?
What are you committed to? That's good. Yeah. Erica, where can people find you?
So I hang out on Instagram, probably mostly. I do have a Facebook page, exoerica.hazy. My website is exo-erica.com. And currently right now, I reach out to me. I love meeting new people. I just love it. And that's why I think I love Instagram so much, because it just feels so personal.
I like Instagram a lot too.
Yes, it's great. And then I do run 2 programs. She is Fierce is my all women in gym, which I have it in person in Minnesota. And then I have Grit and Grace, which is my 10-day accountability online challenge.
Ooh, nice. Like, get on that challenge. Like, if maybe this hit you in the right season, like, do the work. Like, faith without works is dead. Go ahead and reach out to Erica and get that accountability, because it will bless you. Anything that you're investing towards your health, towards your mindset, I feel like it's a very positive thing, and you will never regret it. You know what I'm saying?
You are your best investment. 100%.
Exactly. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have a chance, stop by the website at lindamendable.com. Sign up for the Blog Cure, which is an awesome course that I created that will help you set up your blog or take your blog to the next level. And join us over at Monetizing Mompreneurs Facebook group. I just want to say again, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening.